Pittsburgh versus Baltimore. I mean, I'm not gonna
The
lie.
masterclass.
I picked Pittsburgh.
You did.
I was scared. I picked it solely off of fear, and that was
But-
because I thought that it was going to be an emotion-driven game, and that Pittsburgh was going to come in pissed, and maybe they weren't going to come in playing how they've been playing the past month. Luckily,
But I think the way that they played the past month and the way that they played against y'all tonight is just what that football team is.
yeah.
Like we said, they just have a super tough schedule coming into the last month of games.
Well, they're playing 4 straight games versus real competition. 4 teams playing for something.
Yep.
You had the Ravens playing for a division. You had the Eagles, playing to have Saquon just dominate for that record and make sure they clinch the East. You had Kansas City playing for the 1 seed. You had Cincinnati playing just to have a chance.
A chance, yeah.
And that was Pittsburgh also playing to have a chance to win the North. It's like y'all were both playing for a chance, and Cincinnati beat y'all.
Yeah, and it's like I get that they were on pace to blow you guys out of the water in the division, but
they were 2 games ahead. A month ago, they were 2 games ahead.
Exactly.
And there was
They'd
no
already
problems.
beaten you guys.
They were walking into the AFC North at that third spot. They were.
But I mean, yeah, it's pretty simple. They started playing real teams, and they don't have the consistent offensive production to back up what their defense does. And the second that their defense makes a mistake, especially against you guys, they're shot.
Okay, I mean, because I'm not gonna take nothing because this is exactly what I wanted, Devin. This is the exact type of win I wanted.
This is what we've been talking about all year.
We won.
Front-loading wins.
The Baltimore Ravens won a football game, and they stuck to their game plan. They stuck with what worked.
Yep.
And they executed on every single level.
And they did it early.
When Lamar had to throw, when Lamar decided, hey, let's throw it. Let's throw it once or twice. We ran it 15 times in a row. Let's throw it. Is that cool? Okay. Because that's what happened. We didn't have to throw that football.
At all.
It was, we're going to give the ball to Derek.
No, it was, we're going to pound the fuck out of him, and then I'm going to take that bitch and move it around.
Well, yeah.
And then when they crash everybody in on Derek, there's fucking Andrews or whomever sitting across the middle.
Yeah, it's you either got to tackle Derek, chase Lamar, and then they're going to make you do both of those things.
Yep.
And then you got to go out there and either stop 6'6" Isaiah Likely from catching a football. Yep. You got to stop Mark Andrews. You got to
Charlie Flower.
Rashad going crazy. Baby. You got Nelson out there making plays. We got Tylan Wallace out there making plays. But we got so many people out there making plays. And it worked.
Yeah.
It worked. It got to the point where, I don't get hyped for injuries or whatever, but it's like by the end of that first half, both TJ and Cam Hayward were falling apart.
I know.
They were falling apart.
I know.
And it was solely, I believe, from just, it's like, I mean, bro, it's freezing cold and you got to tackle this monster in the backfield. It's like, bro, it's just Derrick Henry running into you. Ow. Ouch.
Yep.
It's just, and you could see it just, TJ getting his arm wrapped up and Cam being banged up, his head.
Yep.
He was standing there because they were saying he got checked for a concussion but got sent back. But when he was walking to the tunnel,
it's funny because I guarantee you, every time that someone goes into concussion protocol, I bet it's 90% that they have a concussion, and I bet it's 50-50 on them coming in or out.
Absolutely. Oh, Cam walking into the tunnel for halftime was
lost.
Yeah. Now, he could have just been pissed, but at the same time, he also might have been a little rattled from tackling a 6'3", 200
6'4",
whatever.
6'4", I think someone was saying that 250 was on the low end. He always says 250, but that's the low end.
Derek looks huge. And I thought
massive.
That just today. It's like he looks even bigger.
Yeah.
And he was moving. And God, the stiff arm to Minka and Isaiah Likely putting people in the ground. Bro,
Isaiah's a dog.
We dominated.
Yep.
We stuck to our game plan. We didn't abandon shit.
No.
And it worked. And the
And
defense.
it was like, I think you guys could have scored a lot more if that game was closer.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing. It's like we put
Like,
up 21 in the
if their
first half.
defense wasn't, I mean, if their offense wasn't that fucking bad, y'all are going to put up 42 on them.
We put up 21 in the first half, and then that first drive after when the second half started, I thought it was like 4th and 1. I thought we should have went for it.
Yeah.
But we punted it. I believe they ended up scoring, and then
but
we scored
if it mattered, if the game was closer, you guys are gonna take different shots.
We were up 14 in the fourth quarter. We weren't taking shots.
No,
y'all
wasted the last fucking 6 minutes of the game.
Yeah, bro.
Bro,
we had what 304 yards in the first half.
Total
310. It was
298 rushing yards is a postseason record.
It was 304 right before Justice Hill scored that touchdown. Yep. So however many yards his touchdown was, but Lamar broke the record. He has the most rushing, the most rushing postseason yards for a quarterback.
600 yards, 600 something yards in 7 games or whatever.
And also, Lamar might just have to, in order to win a Super Bowl, and he did it, I'll say a little bit more tonight than he usually does in just any game. And that's just putting his body on the line.
No, yeah.
He might have to sacrifice, because Lamar is very good at avoiding tackles and just avoiding contact.
But today it seemed like
you got to stick your head. You got.
Yeah, he was taking looks that maybe weren't as open, but to get those extra yards, like he was cutting back earlier. He was hitting a different gap and just taking a hit, but still knocking people over and getting.
Yeah, and and that's the thing. It's like he got a little banged up and he was sitting there wincing, and then it's like, and then scrambles around and makes a beautiful. That's like Lamar's fine. It's like he's going to for this next month in order to get to this Super Bowl. He's gonna have to just sacrifice that body. Like he might in order to get the Super Bowl might have to take a year or two off of the career just to get this chip. And honestly, I think any player would. I think any player would.
Of course, but the thing with Lamar, it's like, I don't know. Everyone's obviously running is a big part of his whatever, but I think if there was no run game with him, he's still, if not the best passer in the league, one of, if not the best.
And what's beautiful is, and we're going to talk about this next episode.
It's like, I think it was like mid-game or whatever, but one of the announcers, I can't remember which ones they are, but they were like, yeah, he's got one incompletion, and it was a throwaway ball. And it's like, no quarterback, unless it's Jared Goff earlier in the season, is throwing 15, 20 balls and missing 2 or 3 of them consistently, damn near every fucking game.
Oh, for sure.
Like I don't know if did he break the QBR record? Or passer rating record for the year? I can't remember.
I don't know if I was about to say, if he didn't break the damn record, he's close enough to where it's still impressive. Yeah. Either way, I don't know where we were because we got cut off in the middle of the damn recording, so we're just going to keep going on about how dominant they were playing or whatever. But what I wanted to bring up was the fact that we still don't have Zay. We get Zay Flowers next week, or hopefully next week. Tight ends are looking dominant. Derrick Henry's moving. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, I mean, Brandon Stevens scares me, but no more than he has all year.
Yeah.
I don't.
Now, George Pickens is an idiot.
I mean, is there a world where what's up?
George Pickens is an idiot.
Why is that?
He had a fucking catchable ball, and then decides to push off on Marlowe. It's like he didn't have to push off. The ball would have hit him right in the tits. And then just gives Marlowe a good shove. It was like, all right, dude. Now Marlowe could have gotten to that ball, but take the risk of just not pushing off. You're in wide open field.
But I mean, with him scaring me, I think our team, the defense just look like a whole nother level of just focused and dominant. and we had people out there. I will say there was some arm tackling. There were some guys on out there for some highlight hits that weren't really necessary when they could have just won it. Routine tackling. There's still, I don't know. It blows my mind. I mean, but the fact that there's still, people blatantly grabbing face masks or blatantly holding. It's like, I guess there's still people blatantly arm tackling.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. I guess
that missed face mask early in the game was horrendous.
I'd call that right away. I was like,
immediately, I was like, face mask, because his head was turned the other fucking way.
And notice how they didn't show. They just showed the muff. They replayed the muff.
No. They showed the replay.
Well, no. Going into commercial though.
Yes.
I was like, show that shit. Show it. They didn't show it.
Yeah.
But then they got back, and it was more of them like, so this is why it's not a face mask. I guess because he didn't like fully grab it.
No, well, I think they did end up saying that it was a face mask, but it was like, oh well, he kind of swiped at it.
That's what I'm saying.
His fingers didn't go into it, because I heard that at first and I was like,
bullshit.
But then they were like, no, it actually is. But either way, missed, doesn't matter.
Either way, Lamar Jackson. Before I talk about any more Lamar Jackson, so I brought this up a couple of weeks ago. Are we bringing up, the possibility of rethinking the whole Russell Wilson being the guy in Pittsburgh? And
no, well, I don't think they were ever fully set on him. I think
they said they were a month ago. We're rocking out with him, including this game. He's 6-6 with the Steelers as a starting quarterback. He is 6-6.
I understand. I think that they think that this year, at least, he's a better option than Justin Fields. Now, I think that for this team, the way it is, I think that their defense can really only get worse and age out. I think that their offense is still incredibly incomplete. I don't think that their ceiling is any higher than the way it is now. And if they're going to continue to have these mid-seasons where they're not getting high draft picks and they're not drafting well and they're not going out and getting a quarterback or someone who's going to change their franchise, then they're just going to end up in this cycle for a long time. They're going to be stuck here. So I don't think Russ is the problem, but I don't know what the solution is.
Russ is not good. Russell Wilson is not that good.
No, I know.
That's the problem. No, he is one of the problems. He is a problem. Like we talked about the Steelers, how they look these last 4 weeks or last 5 weeks. It has a lot to do with how Russell Wilson has been playing, and it's not been great.
But what are their options?
I'm just saying. Look, maybe my take isn't don't go with Russ, but maybe my take is do not have your don't lock in now. Don't not
short leash on Russ. Big time.
I'm saying be open-minded this offseason.
Of course.
Go into this offseason, think of different scenarios. I'm just saying, if you really got the guy that you're confident in next season, you shouldn't have to pull him on 3rd and 1 in the playoffs.
No.
You shouldn't have to have a package for your backup quarterback to rely on more than Russell Wilson getting a yard or two for a first down.
Yeah.
Because genuinely, the man can't win games. There is no let Russ cook. There is no Russ. He is a game managing quarterback at this point. And honestly, we kind of figured that out. We figured that out when he left Seattle and Geno filled his spot and played damn near as fucking good his last 3 years when he was with Seattle.
Exactly.
So I'm saying like Russ played good enough for how good the Steelers are.
Yes.
They got a fucking top 5. Well, then they didn't look top 5, but a top 5 defense. They got
still a good defense.
They have stars. They have weapons on that offense. Russ is. I don't know if they couldn't have won 10 games with Brock Purdy this year. They probably could have won 10 games with Brock Purdy.
They definitely could have.
That's what I'm saying. Like but that doesn't move me. That's not saying nothing. That's a diss. That's a bad thing.
No, agreed. But
I think Drake May could have won 10 fucking games.
Probably. But the weird thing about this team is like they either have to go out and get a game-changing quarterback or find a way to improve this offense without... I mean, Russ, again, is not good, but he's not out here throwing 5 picks a game. He's not out here fucking shit up too bad. I think that defense this year at least was good enough for Russ to come in and play okay. But I don't know. Like I don't. Maybe they can get a late draft pick, but I don't think they're taking a quarterback.
I
I
think
don't
they
know what this
absolutely
team needs
should.
to hit that next step. I think they're going to be stuck at this fucking spot for a long time if they continue to do
They
this shit.
absolutely. But so what? So you're saying stick with a mid Russ?
And improve the rest of the team, man.
How you can't do you, bro? You cannot do much more improving for this team.
I
The
know, but what
defense is
quarterback?
dominant,
All right,
and
then
and
have him go out and find a quarterback. I don't think Justin's the answer either.
okay. I mean, fuck. I mean, bro. Put any feelings aside. You're not calling Aaron. You're not having a conversation with them.
Yeah.
You're not. I mean, you're not thinking about it.
No, you definitely have to think about it.
I'm just saying, like, Russ is good enough to win more games than they lose for the Pittsburgh Steelers,
Yes.
and that's about it. He is
And,
good enough
and you know who
to
else
continue the Tomlin streak.
You know who else is? Fucking Mason Rudolph.
Yeah.
What was that guy's name? Duck Quack or something?
So why not go with a rookie quarterback then, Devin? Why not? We're going to pay him absolutely nothing, and we're still going to win 9 or 10 games.
Or
fuck it, we'll run with Justin Fields and still win 9 or 10 games.
Or cut your fucking losses on this goddamn team and try a rebuild for once.
Okay, and that was kind of be my point with Aaron. It's like, bro, go in the Super Bowl or bust season and then just tank if y'all can't get it done with Aaron.
Well, I mean, it's like you got to give up on this at some point.
Yeah.
They haven't made a Super Bowl since 2011. They've been there. They've been in the playoffs for the past 20 fucking years.
They'll never tank under Tomlin.
Get rid of Tomlin.
You can't.
Why?
Tomlin wins too much.
But
he wins too much. You can't be every single year winning games, making the playoffs, having a dominant defense, having crazy DPOYs, always being able to pump out great receivers. It's like, no, you can't get rid of him. Mike Tomlin's one of the greatest head coaches of all time. You can't get rid of Mike Tomlin.
But is Tomlin not tired of just being mid?
I'm sure he is, but I think Tomlin knows it's not him.
None of it's him.
Exactly.
It's been almost 15 years of okay enough football.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, people talk about how they had the potential to make another Super Bowl with the Triple Bs.
Yeah. And it didn't happen.
But it's like the Steelers and Tomlin both have to cut their losses and try to do something because they're not going to get anything from being 9-8 every fucking year or 10-7.
I think until it's clear they don't have the talent to go on some type of run or make the playoffs, then you let Tomlin walk. I don't think they let him go out like Bill.
But what are we playing for? Are we playing for making the playoffs?
Devin, I think all 32 teams are playing to win the Super Bowl.
I don't think the Steelers are.
The Steelers, dude, they are. But I'm saying 5 weeks ago, they looked like way more scary contenders than they looked when they went through 4 weeks of actual opponent or actual contenders.
Yeah.
So if anything, it's like they absolutely were playing for the North, playing to go on a Super Bowl run, this Russell Wilson resurgence.
But
the defense
here's
is dominant.
The thing.
It's like
the team didn't change. The team didn't get worse when they played these good teams. They just played good teams. And it showed how bad they are.
Yeah, but I'm saying and with that you're gonna look worse. So yeah,
but it's not like worse. The team fucking changed. It's like no, they played fucking comp. They're not that fucking good.
Yeah, but to answer the question to what do I think the Steelers were playing for this year, it was like, well, when they were 2 games ahead of the Ravens in the North,
but it's delusion.
They were Super Bowl, they were contenders.
Delusion.
Before we realized the run they had to go on, we were also hyping the Steelers up and saying
little.
That they were 10-3.
But then we looked at the schedule. And it's like,
look,
I don't know.
I'm just saying you might have to rethink the Russ shit.
I just want I don't know. It's weird to have a team that's just fucking pretty good. Like this never happens.
Bro, but I don't know. It's I think it's more enjoyable than being like a Jags or a Browns fan. I mean, at least you
No.
get to go into the year with some type of hope.
See, but here's the thing. I've lived through a lot of piss poor years with my team. And we don't do rebuilds right or whatever, but if we do it correctly, could be cool. But I mean, honestly, I'd rather have no hope in a season than hope in making the playoffs, and that's it.
But I think if you were born into born as a Steelers fan and you've only known your team as a team that was at least going to make the playoffs every year, and then every year it's like you got a dominant defense, you got a great running back in Najee, you got every single season it's Le'Veon Bell and Big Ben and Antonio Brown, and now it's Najee and George Pickens and all this shit. I mean, there was a time where Juju Smith-Schuster looked amazing.
I know. Well, the
It's like
fucking year they went 11-0 to start the season. They're like, oh, we're this, we're that. It's delusion.
they crumbled, and that's. But I mean, at the end of the day, what is all this? What does all this mean? Get rid of Mike Tomlin and what? Put somebody else there to do even worse?
If
It's
it
like
if
no,
it
no, no.
means that this team restarts, maybe.
If you're gonna end up being, if you are gonna actually have some type of chance of being a Super Bowl contender, I'd rather have that talent being coached by Mike Tomlin.
Well, then either go out and pay for talent, or take a losing season on the chin with Tomlin and keep him.
We'll
Draft
see.
people and then whatever.
We
But
will see.
such a weird
We
fucking
will
thing.
see. But